it's so important with people when they're entering into that long-term relationship state that they have these kind of conversations, because either this guy is just a cheating son of a bitch and he's just has no morals, or he has a different value base to her and doesn't class it as cheating, but she does. This is why you have to have these conversations to make sure you're on the same page ethically and morally and what you want out of the relationship. 3 months ago, I caught my partner taking naked pictures of himself on his phone. He was writhing around on our bed and snapping away. Eventually, he admitted he was exchanging them with a number of women he'd met on the internet. He's promised faithfully he'll never do it again, but now I just can't look at him in the same way. The trust has gone from our relationship, and I don't know if we can ever get it back.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, that's a pretty simplistic answer, but what the fuck is he doing in a relationship sharing naked selfies with a group of, you said a group of women. A group of women.
Yeah.
Writhing around, not just like a dick pic, writhing around, snapping pictures to send to this group of women. Is this his OnlyFans? Like, did she just come on his OnlyFans?
Well, this is from 2015, so it was pre-OnlyFans.
Oh, so he could have been. The story brought to you by the creator of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he wouldn't do it again. He promised he wouldn't do it again. It's really, is he going to live up to that promise? You would hope that your partner would, but she said partner of 3 months?
Oh, no, she caught him 3 months ago.
Oh, caught him 3 months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
And she hasn't been able to get over it in those 3 months. She's likely not going to get over it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in a different partner would have been totally okay with what he was doing, and that's fine. He should have been upfront and honest about it to say, this is what I do. How do you feel about that? So she would know what he was doing. But she has set a boundary. She can't get past it unless she's willing to, like, I don't even know if it's not like something she needs to really go into therapy for. It's a boundary she has. It's a boundary she has. She hasn't gotten over it in 3 months. She's not going to get over it. He can find somebody who'd be willing to do that.
It's something that he needs therapy for, I would say. And
because of his motivations for doing this?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a few possibilities, right, of why he's done this, and none of them are good. Like, because what a decent person would have done is, if they had an issue, they would have spoken to their partner about it. You're in a long-term relationship, you live together. If you can't tell that person your deepest thing, your deepest issue or whatever it is, then you either need to work to be able to tell them, and that's going to take time. It's one of those things that you should be able to do if your relationship is healthy and you're healthy. And if you can't, then you need to understand why you can't tell them. But what you don't do is go out and do it. You know?
I feel like this piece of advice my dad gave me 35 years ago stands up to this day. And it works in this environment, in this application as well. If you're going to do a thing you don't want anyone else to know about, don't do that thing.
Yeah.
If he's doing this and he didn't want his girlfriend to find out, then he knew what he was doing was either a bit shady, or he knew his girlfriend wouldn't appreciate it and he was doing it anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe his motivations for doing it are just he likes it sounds like there's a sharing of photos, so he's getting photos as well. So it could just be a little kink that he has, and everybody's got a fetish, and those are fine if they don't hurt anybody else. But in this instance, he should have been upfront and honest with his girlfriend. And if she said she didn't like it, then he can choose to say, well, this is something I enjoy and I'm going to continue doing it. So this relationship is going to work. Or as he did, he's promised he's not going to do it again, but she still 3 months later has this doubt that he's not going to do it.
I think for me, the promise that he wouldn't do it again, that, like, if I was in that situation, just from my personal perspective, that's not worth the paper it's printed on, because it's because he's already betrayed your trust. He's already gone there and done it, knowing that you wouldn't like it, and he's gone ahead and done it anyway, and done it for a long time. Like, he's got a whole network of women that he's doing this with. So this isn't a new thing. Like, he's actively seeking out other women, talking to them, and then either trading photos or just sending them his photos. And you knew nothing about it until that point. I wouldn't be able to get over that. You know, I could talk to anyone about anything, but a betrayal of trust like that I can't do.
It is. You're right. It is a betrayal of trust. And like she clearly, it's been 3 months and she still can't get over it. And
Mm,
if she doesn't trust that he's going to keep that promise, then
mm,
all that trust is gone.
exactly.
And he never told her. So I don't think there's any coming back from that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is why, like, it's so important with people when they're entering into that long-term relationship stage that they have these kind of conversations, because either this guy is just a cheating son of a bitch and he's just has no morals with that kind of stuff, and or he has a different value base to her, and doesn't class it as cheating, but she does. This is why you have to have these conversations to make sure you're on the same page ethically and morally and what you want out of the relationship. Or it could be a weird fucked up mental health kink that he's got because he had some trauma in his childhood. But unless you talk about it to your partner, none of you are ever going to know. So you have to take it at face value and think, no, he's betrayed your trust.
And people need to definitely be better at not only setting, but also communicating their own boundaries up front. And sometimes you don't know until you know, right? If this is something that bothers me, I wouldn't think to bring it up while dating. Like, please don't send naked selfies to other people, because I would have thought that would be something that would kind of be implied.
Yeah, yeah.
People perhaps need to set that boundaries and be better at advocating for themselves. Like all these people who, or the majority who seek out these advice, I feel like it's a lot of them just trying to find somebody else to either justify what they did wasn't as shitty as it likely was, or someone else to give them the words they need to be able to go back and say, no, I'm not going to do this thing. Or that extra oomph of, yes, you can advocate for yourself, where it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to do, but the benefits of it are humongous. Okay, so I think we've wrapped up this last one. The relationship is doomed. The relationship is over.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he wants to continue doing this and he's doing it for the right reasons, though he doesn't feel like, I don't know, obligated to, or he doesn't get his entire sense of self or whatever from these photos, if it's not hurting anybody and he's happy doing it, then God bless, keep doing it. You'll probably find a partner who'll be accepting of that, but just be upfront with your partners.
Yeah, like you just hope that he'd learn from it. Like if it is a deep psychological need and a genuine kink that he has, because that tends to be something that they struggle to not have it fulfilled. It's like it's quite a strong urge, and that's something that you need a sex therapist to work through it with your partner. I mean, if like that is something that this woman could do with a sex therapist with her partner, like they might be able to work through it together to figure out, are you being a dick or is this a genuine need, and being able to figure out the two.
So admittedly, I don't know, I've not worked with sexual predators like you have, but if he's doing it because of it's like a pathological or sexual need, at some point those photos may no longer fulfill that need, so he would have to potentially escalate. Like, is that a potential, or could that just be?
It depends on where it comes from and why he's doing it. And it's because at the moment, like those, I mean, if we assume that this is a kink and it's a mental health thing, right? Let's just make that assumption here. Okay. That like then kinks tend to be fulfilling, right? So they don't escalate or change. It's like it's a super specific need that they have. Whether it's Quentin Tarantino with his obsession about feet in all of his fucking movies, that doesn't escalate across his movies. It kind of stays the same sort of level, right? Whereas like something like, if we're going to look at, like, say, a sex offender by comparison, some of the ones that I was working with were attracted not to boys or girls or men or women. They were attracted to vulnerability. So they just wanted to get instant gratification and just get their end away, and a vulnerable person was the best one to do it with because they can't fight back. And then so that is a sexual attraction. Yeah, that's a sexual attraction to them. But then how that's different to a kink, because the kink in and of itself doesn't tend to be harmful. It tends to be self-contained and it tends to be fulfilling. And it doesn't escalate, which is why they have to work with a sex therapist to figure out, like, where's it coming from, because a kink that hasn't been figured out, like as has happened here, it's destroyed this guy's relationship, assuming it is a kink, then it's destroyed this relationship for him. And his partner's not going to be able to come back from it. He's betrayed her trust. Like, he hasn't acted in a good way. He's lied. He's basically cheated on her and all these other things. And then she's going to struggle to overcome that.
Was this a Deirdre?
No. This was a Jane O'Gorman from the Daily Express.
And what was Jane's response?
Not as nuanced as ours, but your relationship can never be the same again because you faced a serious test. But couples do survive hiccups and traumas all the time. I suggest you keep talking and find out why he did this in the first place. Ultimately, is this a relationship breaker? Can you carry on living with this man, and can you forgive him in order to wipe the slate clean? If he simply can't convince you that nothing like this will occur again, then I fear you may well be doomed.
Oh.
So I think
pretty close.
Yeah, my issue isn't with what she said. My issue is with the brevity, I think, because there's just like a couple of, like, even just an extra sentence or two just to tie it all up a little bit might have given the writer a bit more to go on. Because now it's kind of like, right, you've asked me a lot of questions I have to ask myself, and where do I go next?
That's fair. You know what? That's true.
Yeah, speak to a sex therapist. That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
And yeah, because that is the key, is like, because you don't want to make excuses for him if he's been a shithead, if he's been a cheating bastard, and then that's what you need to figure out through therapy. And I guess, like, the other thing that people have to be honest with themselves about it as well is that, do you think the relationship's worth that hassle? Do you think that you're willing to go through all that? Because maybe you've got to think of yourself as well. And helping someone through a kink that makes you feel uncomfortable in the first place, and they've betrayed your trust and stuff.
That's true. I mean, if we look at the two examples we had today, the first one, I think there's definitely value in trying to work through it because they have a 2-year-old child, right? So, I mean, not that couples should stay together for the kids, but you got more skin in the game when you've got a child into it. Depending on how long this couple has been together, if they have they don't have real estate together, they don't have children together, it could be not as deeply serious a relationship. Then it could just be, you know what, you got to work through your issues on your own. Good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah. I can't be dealing with this. It's too weird. Because that's the other thing.
A lot of people feel like they need to fix their partners. They need to be there through the long haul. It's not selfish to take care of yourself first, because if you're not able to take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So there's such that push of being selfless and putting everybody else ahead of you, but there's got to be some sort of self-preservation and self-care. Otherwise, it draws a line between being selfless to being somebody's doormat if you meet the wrong person.
And I think that this is especially important for women to learn as well, because one of the reasons why feminism has taken so long to make the progress it has is because women were enabled and encouraged by society to be selfless and give everything to a relationship and to their families. And I don't think there's any shame in saying to somebody that, no, look, I accept that you have this kink, but it's too weird for me. I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, because that is perfectly acceptable. Because
it's not kink shaming. It's just, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Everybody has deal breakers in their relationship. And one person's deal breaker is going to be one person's Tuesday. So it all depends on what you are willing. Just because somebody else is willing to oversee that, or somebody else is willing to be in a relationship with someone who has that particular kink, doesn't mean you have to be.
Yeah, because we all have different needs, and some of us would need our partners not to post pictures of themselves to other women.
Oh, yeah. And some of us would need their partners to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But there's someone for everyone.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day, fuckface.
Yay!
Bye. Bye.